Bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's flow for now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow.
What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another episode of the Transfer Show. We're on episode number 7 already, which is mental. It just seems like yesterday since I'd started the series, but here we are, episode number 7, and things are getting very interesting in the transfer market with Manchester City now, aren't they? With Jeremy Doku, Lucas Paqueta, things are really starting to warm up, and things are really starting to get interesting. And I imagine that this is going to be the direction that we're heading in now in 3 weeks or so left of the transfer window. I'm looking forward to it. Man City, as we saw yesterday, even though we won 3-0 against Burnley, it's evidently clear that Man City are needing a little bit more depth, a little bit more in their squad, and someone to offer something a little bit new as well. And that's what Man City will be aiming for. So I'm looking forward to it. As I said, I think it's going to be a very busy one. It's going to keep me busy. It's going to keep you guys busy. And for some reason, every time we get into August, things just seem to go kind of crazy when it comes to Manchester City transfer news. I don't really know why, but I'm expecting this summer to be no different. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then please do subscribe. It is free. That'd be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well, social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Email in there, TikTok in there, Twitter, Instagram. Go and check it out. They're all in the description. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up as well. That'd be much appreciated. And do let me know your thoughts. If you're watching this after the video, then do let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. We've got the live chat rolling as well. Do come and feel free to say hello and give me some of your thoughts. So Blue Moon, thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Perky as well, thank you for tuning in. How's it going? Very well, thank you. Saturday morning, Premier League football and just football in general very much is back. So I'm very excited for that one. So yeah, I am very well, thank you. How are you? And Nadir, thank you very much for tuning in, saying he reckons we're going to get both Jeremy Doku and Lucas Paqueta by next week. Bold call there. But do you know what? Some of you guys were saying to me that Joško Gvardiol was going to bring him in by August 2nd or August 3rd. And I was laughing. I was like, there's no way. It's not close. It's not going to get done. And then all of a sudden, over the course of, 5 or 6 days, it just took a big, hard shove into getting done. And all of a sudden, transfer was complete. And Joško Gvardiol became a Manchester City player. And less than a week later, he's making his Man City debut yesterday against Burnley. So, yeah, you could be right. You could well be absolutely spot on. Ernest, thanks very much for tuning in. Good morning. Hope you are well. 11:23 a.m. here. Looking forward to the early kickoff today. So JSGC's got up nice and early, get everything sorted here Saturday morning, ready to go. Nice and motivated as well. Perky saying stayed up till 4:30 a.m. to watch. I presume that's to watch the Manchester City game. Where you tuning in from, Perky? So very early, that one. Very early. So I think we'll take a couple of minutes because I did say in my transfer update, if you've not already checked it out from today, I did say that when I'm going to do my transfer show, I am going to speak a little bit more about that Burnley game as well. So we're going to speak about the Burnley game and what I thought went really well first for Manchester City. So 3-0 victory, 3 goals, clinical in front of goal. One thing I mentioned in my preview was I thought it was so important for Man City to get Erling Haaland firing from all angles and getting him back in amongst the goals as quickly as possible. If you remember to last season, just how quickly Erling Haaland got off for Manchester City, he went off at a rapid pace, and that helped him to really break through the records, the goal scoring records that, of course, he set last season. So because of that, Man City, they need Erling Haaland's goals. They need him to be able to be back in amongst the goals. And the fact that he's not making that many touches and scoring goals, to me, shows Erling Haaland is back to his best. However, we're not going to ignore the fact that Pep Guardiola had a bit of a spat with Erling Haaland on the pitch yesterday at half-time. People asking what that was all about. That was, from my understanding of it anyway, I think Erling wanted Bernardo Silva to play a through ball. He hesitated, didn't play the ball into the channel and worked the ball backwards. I think Erling Haaland was unhappy with Bernardo Silva because of that. And then Pep Guardiola's been on the defence here of Bernardo Silva. And I think it's had a little bit of a pop at Erling Haaland to say, don't always expect the ball to come through. But anyway, as Gary Neville was saying yesterday on Sky Sports, it's one of them things that, to be honest, it should be left in the dressing room. It shouldn't be on public show for everybody to see. But Pep Guardiola's a very passionate manager, likes to know his thoughts, and the initial thoughts was something was going on there. So he's sought to resolve that on the pitch rather than get into the dressing room and get that one sorted. But that's just how Pep Guardiola is. Sir Alex Ferguson very much was the same. Jose Mourinho was the same as well when he was in the Premier League. So you're looking at two very successful managers, got a proven good track record there. Pep Guardiola, no different as well. Very much a person that wears his heart on his sleeve and will allow his passion to come through, regardless of that being on the camera or not, whether that be at half-time in the dressing room or whether that be on the pitch as well. Cue Pep Guardiola doing a half-time team talk on the pitch, Phil Brown style from Hull City. That would certainly be very interesting. A couple of people asking about news from the injuries from yesterday. Joe, thanks for tuning in, says, any news on John Stones? We did have further clarification from Pep. John Stones won't be playing in the Super Cup on Wednesday. Could well be back for Newcastle next weekend, though, so not too serious. And to be honest, I'll take that. Blue Moon also asks any news on Ruben Diaz. I've heard concussion. I've heard a rumor that he's got a black eye, that he's picked up some kind of facial injury. If that is the case, and he has got a black eye, it may be a case that he may have to wear a mask or something, depending on how serious that concussion is. And of course, as Sub 2 says there, it's protocol, concussion protocol, that he's not going to be able to feature for Manchester City. So I doubt that we're going to see John Stones or Ruben Diaz for Manchester City in the Super Cup. Kevin De Bruyne as well picked up a hamstring injury yesterday. He's also going to be out for Manchester City as well. A couple more points from the Burnley game. As I said, clinical in front of goal, a wonderful performance from Erling Haaland. I was super impressed with Rodri. Man City's defence as a whole looked pretty solid. We looked a bit shaky first half, first 30 minutes when Burnley were putting the squeeze onto us. But once we'd got that killer second goal, the defence looked very comfortable. You wouldn't have thought we didn't have a Ruben Diaz or a John Stones in there, so looked really good. So impressed with that. It was brilliant to see Joško Gvardiol make his debut for Manchester City. It was great to see Mateo Kovacic make his debut. He's really fitted in well at Manchester City and hit the ground running, which is really good. My only other pondering question that I have from that game now is, I don't know why Jack Grealish didn't start that game. I think City wanted to go with Phil Foden. I didn't think he had a bad game for City. And I wonder if we're going to find a way of getting Jack Grealish more involved. And with this injury to Kevin De Bruyne, that might just allow either one of Phil Foden or Bernardo Silva to go into midfield and allow our wingers to start. But we are looking a little bit short when it comes to a bit of cover, which I can understand Manchester City's keenness, so to speak, to get this Jeremy Doku deal over the line and as quickly as possible. Brian says, concerned about the injury with Doku. Missed a lot of minutes in the 2021-2022 season and minutes played. Why did he only start 13 games last season and only trusted as a sub? Is it bad attitude? I'm going to put it down to age. He's just a player that I'm not expecting for him to be starting week in, week out for Manchester City. I think he's just a player that needs to mature. He's only young. He's 20, 21 years old. He's one of them players, I think, that's just going to have to learn from Manchester City, and he very much will be a rotated option for City. He will be a squad player, much like what Sergio Gomez is for Manchester City, Calvin Phillips. I think Jeremy Doku for the next 12 months, if we do sign him, will become that for Manchester City as well, where obviously you've got world-class players out wide, Grealish, Foden, Bernardo Silva. Jeremy Doku is going to really struggle to replace these players. So there won't be loads and loads of minutes available for him, but we don't have much cover. And if we do get any injuries, we've got no one really to take over that other than Cole Palmer. But I think Cole Palmer wants to not be a part-time player at Man City. He wants to be a regular starter, and I don't think he's going to get them minutes that he craved so far this season. So I think a loan for him would be best. I think a loan for James McAtee as well would probably be best for that. As well. Star makes a brilliant point. Erling Haaland throughout his career has been pretty injury prone. Man City's physios have been absolutely spot on. In fact, City's physios over the last 3 or 4 seasons have been miraculous. They've been absolutely brilliant. I think they're getting a real challenge on their hands here with Kevin De Bruyne and this hamstring injury. I don't think he's fully over that hamstring injury, and tearing your hamstring can be a very serious injury. It's not just a strain. It's not just a pull on your hamstring. It's not just your typical 4-week injury. It's a tear on the hamstring. It's going to take a while for that to heal. They're speaking about 6 to 8 weeks. I think it might take even longer. Maybe we might see Kevin De Bruyne in Barcelona and visiting Lord Dr. Cugat to try and help Manchester City out from that end. So we'll have to wait and see. But if City do choose to add Jeremy Doku to their squad, I'll be very happy with that. And the numbers that have been spoken about, I'm very happy with that. It's very affordable. Jack Gorhan just this morning, just after I put out my transfer update, typical, says that it's going to be a case that it might be looking at over £30 million. I've heard 50 potential million euros, 50 to 60 million euros. So you're looking at around 43 to 51 million pounds. So if we're looking at over 30 million, it might just be a case that City pay 35 million pounds plus 5 to 7 million pounds in add-ons, achievable add-ons, gets that one sorted for that one. So we'll have to wait and see. Sub 2 says Thomas Partey playing right back for Arsenal today, going for a Nottingham Forest victory in the early kickoff today. JSGC is going to go and have a watch of that game once we've been live here and spoken about everything there is to speak about. But that's very interesting. I'm amazed Arsenal aren't pushing the issue with João Cancelo. I really did think that Arsenal will be asking a lot of questions and pushing Manchester City really hard to try and make that transfer happen, because he would add serious quality to the Arsenal team. They've had it with Zinchenko. They've had it with Gabby Jesus. I'm surprised they're not coming back to Man City and saying, you know what? Have an extra £10 million. You're struggling to sell him. Let's see what you say from there. We'll have to wait and see. Nadir says, looking forward to the Newcastle versus Aston Villa game later as well. I'm just happy for football to be back. I really am looking forward to it. The games are going to come thick and fast. I was watching midweek. It got that bad. I was enjoying watching the first round of the Carabao Cup. I watched Wrexham against Wigan Athletic that finished 0-0 with both teams putting out a weakened team. Yet JSGC fully enjoyed watching that game. I'm just happy that football's back. It's been a long summer, really has. We've not had any real competitive, proper football since June 10th, and it's all good having these pre-season friendlies and these community shields and everything like that, but they are just that. The friendly games, the warm-up games, they have no importance. There's no competitive edge to them. And actually, I know there's been the push over the last few weeks speaking about potentially moving a Premier League game abroad. It comes out every single year. And all I want to say on that is when you're abroad watching Premier League teams in friendlies, it's not the same as watching competitive matches. And they were speaking about adding an extra game onto the calendar. That's not going to work. You'd have to move one of the games now abroad, and it'll cause a lot of upset with the season ticket holders and everything happening. All I'm going to say is the NFL do something similar in the United States of America. They move games abroad. It gives chance for foreign fans like myself to be able to watch the NFL and experience everything the NFL has to offer. And to me, it is a tremendous experience. It's one of the best things ever, in my opinion. And if you're in a lucky enough position to be able to watch a game, if they ever do have competitive games abroad, I'm not completely ruling out that I'm completely against it. It'll cause a lot of stir with that. But I've been on both sides of the fence, and to me, you cannot beat competitive football action, in my complete honest opinion. Now, my final thing I want to speak about with Burnley is I was really impressed with Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez's link-up play. I've not been a real fan of Alvarez playing behind the striker, playing behind Haaland. I don't think we're getting the best out of Julian Alvarez doing that. But yesterday was the first time that I've been really impressed. And I don't know whether that's just because I don't think Burnley defensively are that good, or whether it's just Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez are linking up a little bit better now than what they were last season and getting more used to each other. I'd like to think it's the latter, and I think it's something I'd like to see potentially in the European Super Cup on Wednesday. See it again, see how we fare against an organised, good defensive team like Sevilla, and see how we get on with that. That was my only other note that I did forget to mention in my review video from yesterday. Love that from Ernest as well. Thank God for football. Oh, yeah. Love it. Can't beat it. One of the best things ever. One of the best. Nadir says, Caicedo, Lavia going to Chelsea, Liverpool in the mud. I was speaking about that Caicedo deal yesterday. It's a strange one, isn't it? Really is a strange one. Looked like he was set to go to Liverpool, £110 million. I'm going to repeat that. £110 million for Moises Caicedo. He's a good player. £110 million is a staggering amount of money, and Chelsea are happy to match that bid because Moises Caicedo said, I don't want to join Liverpool, I want to join Chelsea. And if I was a professional football player, why would you rather join Chelsea than Liverpool? All I can think of is that big old pulling factor again, which is London, that someone would rather live and be around London than be around the Northwest and in Liverpool, which me being very biased and being around the Northwest of England, why? Look, I can't think of a worse place to be than London, if I'm completely honest. And I can't even say it's money because I know pound for pound, Liverpool can match what Chelsea are paying. Chelsea have had a stinker of a season last season. They've got nothing to offer Moises Caicedo other than being a past former good club who's got some money in the hope that they're going to make it work. And maybe Moises Caicedo settled in Brighton and thinking actually he enjoys the culture in southern England rather than coming up north, because it is very different. But to me, very proud. I can't think of anything better than being a northerner up in England. That I definitely don't want to be a southerner. And to me, growing up here, no, London, absolutely no way. So when somebody says they prefer to live in London, it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind. Maybe if somebody's from outside of England and an outsider looking in might think a little bit different. But for me, time out. Absolutely not. Romeo Lavia, yeah, he looks set for Chelsea. Relegated with Southampton. He's not really got a choice. Liverpool are interested, but not really pushed the issue. And no one seems to be happy to pay the Romeo Lavia price. And Man City's not got that clause in his contract until next summer, so we can't really do anything about it. We'll get a nice sell-on fee. That sell-on fee may just pay a nice bit of that Jeremy Doku fee for us. So yeah, there we go. We'll have to wait and see. I've heard rumours of Matoma coming back from Brighton as well, but I think Man City are looking for affordability because everybody knows we want Lucas Paqueta. We know he's going to be a very expensive transfer from West Ham. We can't really afford for an expensive winger and an expensive central midfielder as well. Although we do have the money, it's just not how we do the business. It seems to be one or the other. If you want Matoma, you're going to have to pay big money to make that happen and maybe forget about a central midfielder, or you settle for somebody who's a little bit rawer, who's a little bit not where we want him to be as of yet, but we can make him where we want him to be and pay a little bit less in Jeremy Doku. Now, part of me just think, save money, keep Cole Palmer. I've been impressed with him in pre-season. He's good to go. My only problem I have with Cole Palmer is he's very similar to Bernardo Silva, to Phil Foden, to Jack Grealish. He's a ball-working, ball-distributing winger. And Jeremy Doku's rapid, he's quick, he's direct, and he offers something different to what Man City already have. And I think that might be why Man City choosing to push the issue when it comes to Jeremy Doku, which latest today, bid of over £30 million incoming this week from Manchester City to Stade Rennais over in France, which might be accepted, might not. Man City already have personal terms agreed with Jeremy Doku as well. Nadia asking, when do I think we're going to get Lucas Paqueta? Well, we've already got personal terms now done and dusted, as per Fabrizio Romano and several other sources are reporting now, which is fantastic. The issue we have now is negotiating this massive fee with West Ham. I don't think Man City are too keen on paying over £70 million. Rumours are West Ham are wanting over £80 million. They want a deal that's worth potentially north of £90 million, talking €110 million all in, with a fee and with add-ons as well. So it'll be a very expensive transfer. I am hearing rumours about Cole Palmer and West Ham being very interested in signing Cole Palmer. If that is the case, I imagine they'll probably want a permanent transfer rather than a loan. So Man City may want to make that back with the fee. So if City are willing to go up to £85 million for Lucas Paqueta, and you put Cole Palmer, who's valued at, I think, somewhere between 30 to 40 million, Man City may be paying 30 to 40 million pound for Lucas Paqueta. But I imagine City don't really do swap deals. They'll probably do this as two separate transactions, two separate transfers. It's how we signed João Cancelo from Juventus, and Danilo went from Man City to Juventus. They were a swap, but it was done as two separate transfers to make that transfer happen. That's how City tend to do their business. So we will see. Brian asks a really good question. He says, if City sign a right winger, Olise from Crystal Palace, starting to like the idea of signing a left winger, like Matoma. Give Jack Grealish some competition, keep him on his feet, and also keep Cole Palmer as well. Clearly worried there, Brian, about a little bit of depth with Manchester City. Michael Olise, really good option for Man City. Got a release clause, £35 million. I think Jeremy Doku, I think that's your price you're looking at. I think anything north of that from Stade Rennais, and Man City will say to them, we're going to go and sign Michael Olise instead for his release clause. So do they want £35 million for Jeremy Doku? If not, we'll give £35 million to Crystal Palace and sign Michael Olise instead. So we'll wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. It is all getting very exciting when it comes to the transfers and Man City not being done yet. My only surprise is I feel like Man City have been sleeping in this transfer window. Nothing after the Champions League final. We brought in Mateo Kovacic and sorted out the future of Ilkay Gundogan in June. All through July, all we were doing was selling Riyad Mahrez and negotiating a fee for Joško Gvardiol. We get that done by the beginning of August, and now all of a sudden, we need to sort the future of Laporte out. We need to sort the future of Cancelo out, McAtee, Palmer, sign Lucas Paqueta, sign Jeremy Doku, getting linked with Michael Olise, getting linked with Matoma from Brighton and Hove Albion as well. It's just boom, all out there. It's crazy. It's absolutely mental. And as I said, it's not that long left of the window. We're looking at 3 weeks for Man City to get all their business done and ready to go, because I'll guarantee you right now, Man City probably won't be doing any business in January. So who we bring in now is what we're going to be set with for the season. And we won the treble last season. And Pep Guardiola said it will be difficult to replicate that. However, Man City are a very ambitious club. They spent a lot of money this summer in signing players and bringing players in. They'll want to retain them trophies. They'll want to keep the Premier League. They'll want to keep the Champions League. So we'll have to wait and see. But certainly Jeremy Doku, to me, seems like a more simple, straightforward transfer. If I was to commit to between Jeremy Doku and Lucas Paqueta, I think Jeremy Doku seems like a more straightforward transfer that could get done first. However, Man City seems to be pushing really hard for Lucas Paqueta, so I wouldn't rule out both these deals getting sorted in the next 2 weeks. People asking and want me to commit to a date, so I'll go for, I don't think either of these players will sign in this upcoming week. I think it will come next week. So you're looking at between the 21st and 25th of August. I think Man City will get Jeremy Doku done 22nd of August, and I think Lucas Paqueta will get done very early the week after, just before transfer deadline day, so just after our match. Who've we got last week of August, just before we play Fulham? It is an away match against Sheffield United. I think it'll get done just after that, potentially at Bank Holiday Monday here in England on the 28th. So I'm going 22nd of August for Doku, 28th of August for Lucas Paqueta, is what I reckon. And I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm convinced right now that these are the two players that Man City want to sign, and I think that'll be Man City done in the window. I think it'll take a little bit of time to negotiate fees. Man City don't really rush transfers. But certainly things are moving, things are happening in the background. And as I always say, summer's long, anything can happen. But I will keep you guys up to date every single day with my daily Manchester City transfer updates rolling throughout the rest of the summer transfer window. So if you want to stay up to date, please do subscribe to my channel. It is free. Also, don't forget as well, social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Emails also in there as well. If you want to go and hit me up for any sponsorship, for any videos, or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. I never set a like goal on these because sometimes they get less than 100, sometimes they get near 300. It differentiates. I never really know how it's going to do in the post-production. So just leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated if you are enjoying the content. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying the content that I'm producing, so I know to do more of these things if you are enjoying it. So please do leave a thumbs up. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching this after. Just a couple of points just before I end the broadcast for today. So John is asking, do I want to see Paqueta at Manchester City? I would like to see him at Manchester City. I think he's a really good player. I was impressed with what I saw at the World Cup with Brazil. He's very good with his ball distribution. It'd be interesting to see how he fits in. Is he going to be creative? Is he going to get assists? He's not got the best track record when you look at his stats. I always say after every single review, you can look at stats and overanalyze stats. Stats don't really give you a true indication of the match, and the stats can be said for the same with players. Stats don't give you a true indication of how good a player can be and what they can produce. And let's not forget, Paqueta will be coming to Manchester City and playing alongside some of the best players in the world. So if he can settle and get in really nicely, you watch them stats shoot right up. But look at Jack Grealish. He doesn't have the best stats on paper, yet he's a tremendous player, a player I don't think can be replaced at Manchester City right now. And who'd have thought I'd be saying that a couple of years ago? Cyber Dragon, thank you very much for tuning in and asks my thoughts about Wirtz. I've not heard anything about Wirtz. I always see it in the comments. Everyone's like, Wirtz, go for Wirtz, go for Florian Wirtz, Wirtz. I've not heard anything from anyone reliable about Man City being in for Wirtz. So if I do get anything, of course, I will keep you guys up to date with that one. The Journey, thanks for tuning in and saying, it's still sad that Rafinha is out of the window. It would have been amazing. I'd like to have seen Rafinha, been very expensive, and Barcelona don't seem too keen on negotiating that deal. Brian says for 75 million, you can sign an attacking midfielder, Gabri Viega, which of course has a release clause, 40 million euros, and Olise, of course, from Crystal Palace, again a release clause, and you're completely right, just over 70 million pound. You'll be able to bring in both these players, 21 years old, both cracking players. Seems to be very quiet on the Gabri Viega front. I'm surprised no top European club has brought him in, but there we go. Bulk, hello, thank you very much for tuning in, and hello to everybody for tuning in. I'm really sorry if I've missed your comment. JSGC's not the best when it comes to live streams, as I'm sure some of you guys will have noticed yesterday watching my live watch along, but I'm improving every single day, pushing really hard and trying to get better, to make it as enjoyable for you guys. So thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. It is much appreciated. As I said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll be back again tomorrow for another daily Manchester City transfer update. I do hope everyone is safe and well. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope everyone has a great weekend. I've been JSGC. Peace. Ciao for now.